Have you ever felt your heart racing for no reason, or you just couldn't catch your breath? That's what anxiety and panic can feel like. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how I suffered from anxiety in my early 20s and later panic attacks, and how I learned to cope. What exactly is anxiety? Anxiety is a natural human response to stress. It's that feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease that can show up when we face uncertainty or challenges. And worth noting, it's something that hasn't happened yet. So the fear or the anxiety is about something that may or may not happen. And if it's severe enough, it can interfere with your daily life, like it did mine when I was younger. What are panic attacks? A panic attack occurs as a result of anxiety. A sudden surge of fear or discomfort. Your heart can be racing. You can be short of breath, feeling as though you cannot breathe. Dizziness or lightheadedness, trembling, that's another one, and the general feeling of losing control. And to be honest with you, I've experienced all of them. What causes panic attacks and anxiety? Stress, major life changes, health concerns, just overthinking, thinking about things that may or may not happen. And in my particular case, I had severe anxiety in my early 20s as a result of just not having coping skills. Because, and this is my own personal theory on this, is, I never left home and really didn't experience life until I was married. And that was basically the way it was back when I got married, when I grew up. Kids stayed at home until they got married. So I don't think parents really did their kids any favors by keeping them at home and protecting them, especially young girls that really went into a marriage without any life experience whatsoever. And I just couldn't cope with things that were occurring in my life. My husband and I, we worked different shifts, nights and days. And we didn't really see each other that much in the beginning of our marriage. And that caused a lot of problems. So, yeah, I experienced a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. I would get extremely fearful for no reason, really, when I look back. And lightheaded and agitated. And it became so bad that I had to be hospitalized. I did seek treatment. And of course, a doctor just puts you on pills because that's what doctors are for. That didn't really work. And then you become dependent on the pills and just, it just doesn't work. So I was hospitalized for 6 weeks and things were better when I got out. I don't know that I really learned any coping skills, but what lessened the anxiety and the panic attacks somewhat was just removing myself from the current situation that I was in. But years later, I did continue to have panic attacks, and sometimes I would have them when I would be driving. And then by this time, I had learned better coping skills, and I would say to myself, this will pass. It will be fine. This will pass. And I would practice, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. And sure enough, it would pass, because panic attacks are not life-threatening in any way. They just really throw you for a loop. Anyway, I did grow out of that to some extent. And I have to tell you that I've never had surgery of any kind. I've never had anesthetic. I've had multiple procedures where I was awake. And I would always say to the doctor, okay, just tell me what you're going to do. Because my fear would come from not knowing what was going to happen. And I would say, okay, just tell me what you're going to do and I'll be fine. So this one time I went for a scan of some kind years ago. They were doing it with, I forget what they call it now, where they inject some kind of a dye into you. And that terrified me. And I was probably 50 years old by this time. Oh, I was older. I may have been 55 or even 60. And I was really nervous about this dye or whatever it was that was going to be injected into me. And the procedure took place, but I was so petrified that I had a panic attack as I was coming out of the MRI tube that you go into for these procedures. And I was just trembling. The technician, I'm sure, thought I was in shock and called my husband in. When I think about it now, it was so stupid. But these things happen. This is real life, and you can survive. That is the point. Anxiety and panic attacks don't define us. They're just part of being human. And there's nothing wrong with you. Just be kind to yourself. Practice being self-aware. Seek help when you need it. That's very important. And surround yourself with positive, supportive people. That's also important. But everyone's journey can be different. Let me know what yours is. I'd love to know how you have dealt with panic attacks and what the process was for you.